Hello everyone. This time I will show you how to properly tune up your tishing engine to give it more bite, more RPMs. Well, we're going to start with the basics, and the basic thing is lubrication, and of course the bolts need to be tightened all the time. I'm going to show you the things I did to this engine so you can run it on a higher RPM. The first thing is grease, and this one is from WD-40. It's a very high quality grease. You can use it for bearings and things like that. So that's what I use for the engine. The little bottle with oil from the kit, I mean, it's fine if you're just running it standard, like this speed, it's all fine. But when you want to go to this speed or this speed, you know, you need good lubrication. As well, I filled this bottle with the WD-40 grease, so it's easier to apply it to all the parts. You know, you squeeze and it comes out. And I used almost this bottle, and of course I just fill it up with grease and just put it together, and the excess grease I take away. So, as well, you need to take care of the chain, because the chain over time will always stretch because of wear. So if you can lubricate the chain, yeah, with like sewing machine oil, or this is like Ballistol, it's a non-toxic oil, but you know, I think almost any oil will do for the chain. And then I used blue Loctite for all the bolts. Especially, you know, you need to secure all the bolts really good if you increase RPM. You know, from the piston rod, bearing caps, and the camshaft caps, you know, all these things need to be really good tightened up. Now I'm going to show you a couple of things in the book in a moment, what I did do, because if you want to run it on an RPM like this, you need to make sure that all the play of all the parts is, you know, brought to a minimum, especially from the crankshaft and all the pulleys. So I'm going to turn this engine off and show you what I did do to all these parts. Now let me zoom in. So, here we go. So of course here we have the alternator pulley. This pulley, when I just put it on, you know, on the shaft of the alternator, it just was wobbling all the way, up and down, because the hole of the pulley was a little bit too big for the shaft. So I solved this problem with a little bit of heat shrinking tube, you know, for electrical wiring. Just a little piece from this piece, and I say this is the shaft coming out of the alternator. You just put it over it, just a, you know, a little piece of it, so it doesn't go over the thread for the nut. And then you heat it, of course, with a lighter, so it's nice and tight around the shaft. And then you put the pulley over it, and you get a nicely perfect centered pulley instead of going up and down. The same thing I did as well with the water pump pulley. So the hole in the pulley was a little bit, you know, too big on the wide side for the axle. So I put a little bit of shrinking tube over the axle, just a tiny piece, and then you slide the pulley over it, and it's nicely centered so it doesn't go up and down. As well, all the pulleys need to be perfectly in line. Hope you can see it. Right. So all the pulleys need to be, good in line. And some pulleys were sticking out, or just too much inward. So what I did do, just place a little washer behind the pulley to bring this pulley a little bit more out so that it's aligned with the alternator pulley over here. And the same thing I did with the alternator pulley as well. A little washer behind the pulley so that it comes out a little bit, because the crankshaft pulley and as well the tensioner pulley, they need to be lined up with the crankshaft pulley. So the crankshaft pulley was right here. Those pulleys were just too much inward, so I placed the washer behind the tensioner pulley, the water pump pulley and the alternator pulley. So it's nicely lined up with the crankshaft pulley. Then as well, we need to minimize all the vibrations and going up and down and wobbling, because this engine of course doesn't have any bearings in it, not for the crankshaft, not for the camshaft. So there's always a little play going up and down. Well, you can't really do anything about that. But what you can do is minimize the play going, forward and backward. Hope you can see it. But there's a little bit of play. You can hear it as well. Well, you always need a little bit of play. This I find okay for this engine, but it was the play for the crankshaft was like 4 times more than it is now. Now, how did I fix that? Is at the back, of course, we have the flywheel right here. I hope you can see it. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit more. So as you can see here, here's the flywheel, and there's a space in between. So there you got a, it's going to take something so I can show you. This is the housing, this is the flywheel, and I put a washer in between. I glued it against the back of this flywheel. It's on this side. Now I'm going to show you the washer. It's a washer like this. It's for like water piping and things like that. So it's like a red fiber kind of washer. So I put some glue on one side all around, glued it to the back of the flywheel, so it has less play, going from left to right. And I put also, when it was glued to the flywheel, a lot of grease on this side, because this side is against the housing of the plate you see here. Let me show you that one. So it's nicely lubricated and it's stuck to the flywheel, and it reduces this play. I hope you can see it. There's a little bit of play still there, but it was really like 4 times as much. because if you go up in RPMs, this is going to be an issue. Same with the water pump pulley, if it's not nicely centered, it goes up and down and from side to side. And actually, for the water pump, this pulley has also a little bit play still, but it was as well like 4 times as much. I put some nylon washers inside over the axle of the water pump, so then we have less play like this, but there's still a little bit of play, but it's okay. As well, you need to grease all the components that turn around and all these things, so there's a lot of grease in here, over the shaft, in there, there's a lot of grease, you want to lubricate it, yeah, extra, I would say. As well, just gonna zoom out a little bit. This is the tensioner pulley. So I also have a washer behind this one. But this had as well, standard, a lot of play going like this. Now I'm gonna show you in the book what I did to it. I just sanded the face of the block. I'm just gonna look for the page. Yeah, here we go. I hope you can see it. This is from the Tasheng assembly manual, page 21. Over here you see that block, an axle and the pulley. As you can see, well, this block, this screw goes into this block and this block goes through this hole, so it will slide up and down to tension the belt. This tightened it up in here, still had a lot of wiggling play, so I sent it down